Welcome to Transmuted Living, where we're all about empowering Black women in the African diaspora to elevate every aspect of their lives. Our mission is simple yet powerful: to help you build lasting wealth, embrace vibrant health, and live your best upscale lifestyle. Whether you're looking to level up your finances, make healthier choices, or simply enjoy the finer things in life, you found the right place. Here at Transmuted Living, we dive into practical tips, inspiring stories, and actionable strategies tailored specifically for you. We believe that when Black women rise, we all rise, and we're here to support you every step of the way. So, if you're ready to transform your life and join a community of like-minded women, hit that subscribe button and let's start this journey together. Remember, your best life is not just a dream, it's a plan in action. Let's make it happen. Anger, Alice, the Hole, the Cat, and the Madman. Hello, Resetters. It's been a while since our last video. The last days of summer were jam-packed with family, friends, events, and good chaos. But while we were living and loving with the ones we hold dear, something came up in me that I couldn't let go of. I noticed that while I had been thinking of anything else that the platform needed to say, the answer was right under my nose. I noticed that the very divested women in my family who cut off toxicity in Blackistan from years ago were so about that life, they had no clue what was going on in Blackistan. They knew nothing about Cam Newton, Cleo, whatever her name is, and they thought Ice Spice and Sexy Red was a type of drink. I'm sure that if I never started this platform, I would have thought the same thing as them too. But it had me wondering, is this the result of transmuted anger? Could I get these women to be flaming Black femcells during my visit? Nope. Instead, the opposite happened. There was more of them than there was me. They got me off of my phone, then dragged me to Lululemon, even amidst my protest of the store's racial discrimination, and they got me a cute lime green little outfit, dragged me to the racket club, threw a water bottle at me, and put me on a team. They got me out of the house. My absence on social media got me nervous, but they didn't care. They wanted me to live. For 2.5 years, I had this platform, and my aunt told me that I have changed for the worse. It was disheartening to hear, but I had to listen to this elder. My mother was no longer living, and she was always the second in command. She has never steered me wrong. I told her that I felt that she was about to criticize me, and she said, "I am." "Don't you think you've done enough?" she said. "You are no longer authentically you. You are this angry little woman with her head down every rabbit hole." Sisters, I felt like I was sitting naked in front of an audience, exposed and caught. She caught me slipping. This wise woman told me to reassess my channel from the first inspirational videos that became darker videos that taught great lessons, but put me back into the drama loop and toxicity of the Black community. I had to go searching in places toxic, unhealed Black women actively sit in to refute what was being said. The anger that sat by the sidelines for the past 30 years was waiting to leap back in me at any short notice. Years ago, up until this channel, I avoided toxic people. Now it became my obsession to set toxic Black women straight. Why? Patiently waiting for women to see the horizon and failing at it was making me more angrier than them. After a long talk with the aunt, I decided to give that up. I decided to stop trying. I decided to stop accepting gaslighting by people who had all the excuses for why they just weren't ready to make changes. How did I get the title of this series? Well, for one, my aunt said my head was in every rabbit hole, and the picture of Cam Newton in his hat reminded me of the Mad Hatter. Then I thought about Alice in Wonderland, where the same phrase and wild-ass character both derive. I rewatched Alice in Wonderland, and of course, revelations upon revelations came to me. Anger. Yes, anger, Alice in Wonderland, Black women, it's all connected. This is how we creative people think. Out of one phrase, a litany of thoughts started flooding in. Anger, Alice, the Hole, the Cat, and the Madman. What a title, I thought. But I have to write the title before the sermon. It keeps me on track. If you follow our Patreon, You can see that I showed you a LeVar Burton clip where he's telling Lawrence Fishburne about his undercurrent anger and how he's been able to transmute it. My words, not his, but that's what he meant. He took a symbol of torture, derision, disrespect, racism, and he put it on display over the mantelpiece of his hearth. The chains used to capture him in the hit series, Roots. Those chains hang over his Emmys for Reading Rainbow, Star Trek, and many other TV shows. He says his brand is the nice guy, so much so that he lost a brand deal reading a book with a curse in it. This is nothing new. If you have a wholesome brand, people hold you to it, rendering you their slave in order to keep a roof over your head. We see it with actors like LeVar, but with many Black women who have to fake niceness and hold back anger to survive and avoid the stereotype, the angry Black woman. But we here at Transmuted are telling you to be angry. Fully transmuted anger gets things done, makes you take action, helps you to make the right choices for yourself, and motivates you to success. Healthy anger is the best type of emotion in the world. However, Black women are being forced to look down rabbit holes and are falling for audio-visual traps that are holding them back. Let's dive deep into world history, generational trauma, and the mayhem it caused. We will make very hard theories here. You are free to disagree, but if you must disagree, please tell us why and have a great conversation in the comments. We want to be a part of healing, not adding more trauma to Black women's empowerment discourse. Some of this discussion will be triggering. Some of the people you listen to on podcasts, TV shows, and other social media outlets will be painted as agents of your mental destruction. You may disagree. In this video, we will also look at Black women and the responsibility we must take in the direction of our lives. If you think this is a quote-unquote, we Black women are blameless discussion, then exit stage left. You can't be Earth Mother Goddess, mitochondrial Eve, keeper of the secrets, and when shit goes down, you're blameless. No, we will talk about the secrets you told your sons and how they dishonored you. The only way you can make this world right side up again is to change yourself. If Black women collectively change themselves, they can wield a power unknown in previous generations. Yes, this is valuable information, and future videos will be on the Queen tier on Patreon. We worked hard at gathering information, looking back at my piles of books, of which I will list at the end of every video. If we hurt your feelings, figure out why. If you are insulted because you have sons, figure out why. But this series will change your mindset if you do the work. So girl, why are you so mad? Why are Black women angry? Now don't deny it, because you are. We are. From the hot South to the Yankees in the North, the Black Europeans, to the Spanish-speaking, dark-skinned Latinas, we are angry. We all come from one place deep in the heart of sub-Saharan Africa. Our bloodline goes way back to the original haplogroup in East Africa. The theory is a woman dutifully named mitochondrial Eve set the pace for humankind to walk on two legs and take over the entire earth. She looked like us. Actress Lupita Nyong'o learned that she is a direct line to Eve. Women like her should be our prototype, our beauty standard. But as beautiful as she is not the standard. The standard is whatever is the opposite to her. But why? Despite being the first to walk, the first to build communities, the mother of the men who took out the Cro-Magnons in Europe and settled in the New World when the lands were locked, and the first to be worshipped, we seem to have fallen off the top of the hierarchy. And we are mad, rightfully angry. Let's do a timeline of what happened. Being the first allows one to create belief systems and understand the workings of life and philosophy over millions of years. Black women were the first to understand agriculture, form communities by understanding different temperaments in people, learned how to negotiate, knowledge of animals and vegetation, herbs that heal and kill. You became a natural at knowing when the weather will make a sharp turn before it does. Modern people today will look back and call these women primitive, but they were far from it. As the Eve created new people and sons were born, people with the same ideologies or living in the same climate on the continent formed tribal groups. These tribal groups saw themselves as separate nations. They had separate languages, beliefs, customs, philosophies, and religions. Some of their gods and goddesses intertwined, but had different names and powers. These people migrated and searched for land further north and created Mesopotamian and Mediterranean cultures, which we now know as Southern Europe and the Middle East. More dark-skinned tribes settled even further north of the Mediterranean and created the so-called Germanic savage tribes. Study.com notes, open quote, ancient European civilizations and cultures have existed since prehistoric times, before written language. The first of these cultures is known as the Aurignacian, 60,000 BC, brought to Europe by Homo sapiens migrating northwest from the Levant. Later, during the Mesolithic period, the Azilian culture, c. 10,500 BC, developed on the coast and mountains near the border of France and Spain. These people created unique Azilian projectile points from retouched stone blades and painted black and red geometric patterns on pebbles as portable art. Then, in the Neolithic period, Vinca culture c. 5,500 BC became common in the Balkans, north of Greece. Vinca people created large settlements on top of tells, man-made mounds, and may have created an early writing system seen on the Tartaria tablets. Finally, there was Minoan culture, c. 3200 BC, the oldest advanced civilization in Europe that emerged out of the farmlands of Crete during the Bronze Age. Palaces were the focus of political life for the Minoans. They embellished the structures with beautiful murals and carried out administrative duties using one of the first syllabic writing systems in Europe, called Linear A. Time moved on. The Mycenaeans replaced the Minoans, the Iron Age replaced the Bronze Age, and the historic period replaced the prehistoric period in the chronology of ancient European civilizations. Close quote. Let us remember that these people were all black and brown. Even the tribes in Asia like the Mongols, Manchu, and the indigenous of Southeast Asia. Let's skip several 100,000 more years, and due to climate, living, and evolution, these people become what we now know as Caucasian, Asian, and African. The most popular European tribes are now the Visigoth, the Sami, Gales, Gauls, Regni, Celtics, Etruscans, Vikings, and the infamous Anglo-Saxons. In Africa, you had the Ethiopians, Egyptians, Nubians, and the most powerful Mali Empire. Asia, you have the Mongols controlled by Genghis Khan, all of whom made their mark in different eras and have seen their empires rise and fall. But now a reality is that racial differences were now marked. Black women are in these tribes' genetic memory. They know who the real mother is. But how does one assert their dominance by rejecting their now white and Asian mother? Their now white and Asian mother now has to supplant the African one. White and Asian matriarchs of the leading empires accepted patriarchy, but still held quiet power. Now, many scholars will say it just wasn't about race in the ancient world. It was about tribes. Well, the Greeks and Romans didn't think so. Many of them called Africans Ethiopians, with Ethiopian being the blanket term for anyone black in the ancient world. They did see cultural delineations and race. They, the Mediterranean brown-skinned Levant Europeans, called the black Africans Ethiopian. Any old transcripts or historical Greek text you read and you see the word Ethiopian, that's a black person. Look at our video history lesson part 1. Beautiful enemies and the erasure of black women in history, media, and film. Many black people were influential in the ancient world. So you, our Patreon audience, is probably still trying to figure out how the hell this has to do with anger. By 33 AD, African, Asian, and European matriarchs went to war through their sons and religion. Christianity and Islam co-opted and took over pagan religions, heralding the downfall of African matriarchs. Well, what happened? When matriarchal African queens and tribal leaders married or paired with their children's fathers, they, being the rulers, saw only their children as the beneficiaries of their power. When battles ensued, she had to rely on her sons to win these wars. The battle among the tribal queens was female intellect with male muscle. She needed her sons to fight in this new world. Your ancestors gave their military sons spiritual secrets and philosophies that should have went to the daughters. Do you think the soldiers in any military really know why they are fighting certain countries? What black queens did is like if the American government gave all their codes, philosophical and spiritual secrets to the army, the black sons became more valuable than their daughters. This is where black male worship comes from. Let's abbreviate the term black male worship to BMW. which is funny because we do treat these men like luxury cars. We are fascinated with them. We can't seem to stop talking about what they are doing, whom they are dating, and what they really think about us. Even the black female content creators will say they are done with black men. But if you take a screenshot of all their YouTube thumbnails, almost 95% of the thumbnail has a black man in the title or in the picture. They are not done with black men, and they want you to sit and worship them too. When truly divested people say, "Gee, I don't even think of black men at all to even talk about them," you're called crazy names like a mammy or a straight-up liar. They can't fathom you having a conversation without mentioning those men. The bad cocktail of the need for black men and them historically abandoning their female counterpart from beginning of time to present day, coupled with the entire world knowing black women's weakness for them, keeps black women in the angry drama loop. I read a social science essay by Jane Daybell, which is attached, that notes, even before the American Civil War, there were mixed-raced couples in New York, entirely made up of black men, white women, pairings from 1850 to 1870. The essay goes on to state that even with the racial tension between blacks and whites for jobs, African American men still found ways to be married to immigrant white women from Scotland and Ireland. Many African leaders looking to build civil rights activism balked at these relationships, cause it hurt their cause. Black men did not care. This is 1800s, ladies. The 1800s. Imagine the black women who lived in the infamous NYC 5th Ward at the time, seeing black men running around with white women. Let's go back 600 more centuries to the Moors. They conquered Spain all the way to the Czech Republic. These brown and black men had power for centuries, and they wiped out their bloodline so quickly that the indigenous white Europeans were able to get their country back. Then the Arab and European slave trade happened, further making black women not trust black men. But let's go even further back. When Africa was a matriarchy, the ancient Greeks get educated by Africans. Some of the finest minds of the Greek world got their education in pre-Arab Africa. Let's repeat, pre-Arab Africa. Thales and Pythagoras, Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates were all taught by the high priest of matriarchal Egypt. Yes, don't let these modern-day Arabs tell you that Egypt was always a patriarchy. It was not. Neither was most of the tribes in ancient Africa. All you have to do is to go and ask Google to list ancient matrilineal tribes, and you will get a list of the most powerful African empires to have ever existed. The Akan, this matrilineal ethnic group of Ghana, had a queen mother who ruled alongside the king. The queen mother, or Ohima, was responsible for choosing a new king if the position became vacant. The Bantu, this matrilineal society, was decentralized and practiced wide distribution of surplus goods to distant relatives. This helped to integrate people into the society and created a safety net during food shortages. The earliest African empires, the empires of Nubia and Egypt, were organized matrilineally. The West African Sahel empires, these empires from 700 CE were also matrilineal. The Mali were also matrilineal, and that the queen mother was very powerful. But then why y'all black women so mad? Well, you needed to put a leash on your sons. You gave the muscle, full operations over all departments. You also didn't prepare them to fight males from other tribes who actually listened to their mothers. Even the rulers from powerful patriarchies listened to their mamas. Did you know the mother of Alexander the Great, Olympias, was a ruthless supporter of her child, and she helped him navigate the treacherous court to become king at age 20. She was a cutthroat strategist who shaped his image and ensured he got his due. Olympias believed Alexander was descended from heroes, including Achilles, and told him he should be proud of his heritage. She told him that Zeus appeared in her bed on the night of his conception, which gave him a sense of being the son of a god. This is why you're mad. The truth is, black women are in a trauma loop to correct their historic mistakes as a collective. The only way to stop your trauma from taking another lap around the next generation is to stop negotiating with trauma in your life and use your current anger as a tool to heal, instead of spreading it to others. Spiritual and health intuitive Carolyn Mace says, "The truth itself is your weapon and your comfort. but self-deceit has become more important to you than the truth. Anger is your weapon and your comfort, but Black women are in denial about what is really going on. The ultimate radical truth is you no longer have protectors as a collective. Most of your male counterparts see you as a plague, than someone to be protected, nurtured, or even acknowledged. In the past, Black women didn't have time to respond to rage baiting because they had more so-called fish to fry. They were dealing with institutionalized racism, overwork, and raising children, mostly by themselves. There was no social media except for the TV shows and the annual award shows, magazines like Jet, Ebony, Black Enterprise, and then Essence. These magazines showed Black women who wealthy Black men were married to. Black movies, called Black exploitation movies, had Black women as prostitutes or crime-fighting sexy mamas, but rarely someone of stature in the community. Pimp hoe culture was exalted, and this is right after the civil rights movement. Then a decade later, hip-hop reared its hopeful head, only to end up exploiting Black women further. It was as if the seal was made and stamped on the future stereotype of the Jezebel harlots. The funny thing is most Black women were very far from that stereotype. They were not the ones that were sexually active, but the stereotype stuck. These were from Black men. This was their creation. Many Black women who wanted desperately to be removed from the stereotype adopted the activist role or the church marm to separate themselves from the overly advertised Jezebel. Then there came the Hoteptress, created in the inner cities of New York, Chicago, and Detroit. These women usually followed after Pan-African men, descendants of the failed Garveyites from the early 1900s. Black women were in a conflict. Their own Black men was serving them up to the world using either a funny storyline or a hot beat, and when the white people like it, they created more. Little did Black women know that this is a repeat of history, and little did Black men know that once they sell their women, they would be next. The power structure discards you when you're all used up, and they have full ownership of you. Don't believe me? Ask Diddy, Russell Simmons, and all the present and future disgraced Black men. Black women didn't really know how much their quote-unquote men didn't like them until the dawn of social media. Black women defended hip-hop much to their detriment. They defended sexual exploitation on film in the 70s. Many Black women were fresh off the civil rights movement and accepted anything made by Black men in the media, even when those Black men ended up with ambiguous white or Asian women as their choice of wife. Black women accepted it all and kept the rejection close to the chest. They wanted to praise anything Black because the white man was so quote-unquote evil. Anything made by Black people for Black people, Black women accepted. So let's skip maybe one decade later, and the first computers make their way into very wealthy schools and businesses. They are clunky and cumbersome, but they get sleeker, smarter, quicker with the creation of Wi-Fi, and we now are walking around with computers in our hands. We can see an uprising in a foreign country, our favorite music artist in concert, and see someone travel to another country without leaving the comfort of our homes. It's a blessing and a curse for Black women. Black women like myself hopped onto apps like YouTube to see how to transition to natural hair. Some got on to create makeup videos and just share their experiences. I remember so many fun YouTubers I used to watch like 14 years ago. Makeup artists, teachers, hairstylists, natural hair gurus, and the most profound were BWE. I had already left the Black community and was dating a non-Black man, so I definitely was not on the internet looking for tail. But I noticed while I was on a video about natural hair, I'd see a random nasty-ass comment about the women in the video. And my shock when I realized it was a Black man that made the comment was crazy to me. Many hair gurus and Black women just telling their story would get these comments often. I couldn't figure out where the hate was coming from. I left Blackistan because I hated the lack of structure and the overwork of women, but this hate was potent. It was deep-seated and very scary. I thought to myself, well, that's just the internet. But it made me wonder, okay, this content creator is just talking about her hair. Why do you hate her so much? Then I literally found BWE YouTubers who most had natural hair, and I think that was the connection. No one had relaxed hair. And these women weren't newly natural. They were natural for years. My anger for how these black women were being treated had me watching their videos, and back then you could do a rebuttal video. These men would do the most horrible rebuttal videos and say the most nastiest shit I have ever heard in my then young life. I couldn't believe the hatred. I started seeing it everywhere. Looking back at my life, I could see how women were treated in my old hood, even in the church. The black women were mules. The harsh language wasn't there, but the hateful actions were. I realized my natural reaction to negativity is to leave it, but most black women do not do that. I realized I was a one-off anomaly, that most black women took male anger and sat in it. Why? Why would one fight instead of take flight? Clearly leaving is safer, no? For some black women, leaving is not safer. But I was thinking back then, they must make a run for it. Slavery is over. Why still stay a slave in the so-called black community? What pained me even more is that I saw more women supporting these nasty men than supporting the BWE content creator. They doxed, followed, and hunted down these women to get information on their lives. Now, men did it too, but the women were skilled at it. BW getting child services called on them, finding women's landlords, and making up stories. I remember one hilarious story. Someone accused KSC, then known as Brooklyn Blue, of sleeping with her landlord, and her landlord was, wait for it, an Asian woman. Those moments one could laugh at, but what happened to Asia McGowan was no laughing matter. One of these unhinged lunatics took her life. The murder of black women has gone up exponentially since then, and is currently reported as a murder every 4 hours. What's going on? Could hip-hop be blamed? Is patriarchy to blame? Or Christianity? See, I realized that the blame was generational trauma. I also realized that my trauma responses to disaster and negativity is to leave immediately. You must develop it, or it must be in your blood. It's in my blood. My great-grandmother on both sides were leavers. Any drama, they would leave. My wealthy Caribbean white great-grandfather had a knife up to his black wife's face, and she took that same knife, stabbed him, left him to bleed out, took all his cash from his safe, and left with one kid in hand, another on her hip. Took a boat to another island and then made her way to Europe. We till this day only know of this man through pictures. We are runners, we are track stars. The other great-grandmother, a member of the last vestiges of Tainos, left her black husband, crippled with a gunshot wound to 2 ankles. The Caribbean side was fucking crazy. The ADOS side, she just moved, states from a slap-happy husband. But what about the majority who don't have runners in their bloodline? Grab your pens, because here is where the craft happens. 1. You have to develop constructive anger. Yes, you have to use anger to get what you want. Make a thorough list of everything you want. If it takes 1, 2, or 10 hours, write down every damn thing you want. See it in your mind's eye. Like literally see yourself living in the new reality. In present tense. This helps me out so much when I'm creating. I always think of what it is I want as a result after I show my creation. 2. Structure your life in a way that you refuse to see toxicity or get bothered by it. Now here's where I may lose you all. Stop listening to people who keep putting you in front of degeneracy. I don't care if they're nice or unproblematic, entertaining or mean well. If you are looking at or listening to ignorant and degenerate men, women, or toxic talking points, turn it off immediately. A lot of us sit in front of content creators' videos and say, oh, it's just entertainment. It's not. It's you feeding addiction. 3. Do ancestral meditation. I will post it later for everyone to listen to. This meditation helps you give back the trauma to your ancestors. You can do that on your own as well. Make a list of trauma that you have endured throughout your life. Put on quiet music and picture yourself peacefully handing toxicity back to your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother. They should all be in a circle, and you just say each toxic family trait and you give it back to them. Do it every night before bed so it sinks in. Give it back to them. You no longer need it anymore. You no longer need the toxicity, the drama, the wrong thinking, the poverty mindset, the lack of love, the lack of infrastructure and organization, lack of nourishment, physical or mental. Give it back to them. Take from them what is beneficial to you. If mom was a great cook or conversationalist, Tell her you will take that with you. There will be tears until there are none. When any toxic thinking rears its head, you say, "This thinking is no longer mine." 4. Get your head out of the phones. It's ruining Black women's lives. Learn horseback riding, learn to shoot, learn camping, join a running group. Only use your phone as an alarm, meditation, health gauging apps, listening to educated podcasts, and life improvement videos. Steer clear away from Black content creators or anyone marketing to Black people, unless it's in fashion, home building, education, life improvement, and they have a white audience. Do this for at least 1 year. Trust me, the new people that you'll meet will be amazing. And 5, what can you create to get your demons out? Now, I don't mean creating a loud divestment YouTube channel yelling about bullet bags on a mic. What can you create that the entire world will love, that you can make money on, that takes those toxic demons out of you? Tina Turner found it in a studio, and Buddhism. What will be your demon crusher? 6, move. Yes, move. Wait, did I say move? Now I'm going to hear I don't have any money transmuted. Find the money, sell clothes, sell your eggs, sell your wigs, sell your jewelry. If you took my wealth class, the money would find you. The best thing a Black woman can ever do is to move. Get an extra job to move. Move at least every 5 to 10 years. Never stay stagnant until you find your forever tribe and home. Staying in one place is dooming. Without finding your tribe is going to doom you to failure. Many women have changed their lives exponentially, and all of them said it happened when they moved. Move. Research the new state or country intensively. YouTube has travel videos you can watch before you go and do an initial visit. Travel to all your desired locations as a tourist first. Then, stay there a little longer and see if you like the people, food, and atmosphere. Move. 7. Getting off your phones and doing fun outdoorsy events, being a regular tourist, can open the doors for love. Yes, relationships. We never cover love because our channel knows you can't love anyone else until you love yourself. I believe in organic love, where you meet the person in their habitat and see how they operate. Meeting online is fine, but you need to bump into your future husband, the horse trainer at your first derby. You need to collide into your future husband, the construction business owner, when you donate your time building homes for the family that lost their house in a fire. Do you see where I'm going with this? Go the fuck outside. Learn something new. First, that should be the agenda, to live life beautifully and authentically. Then the partner will show up. Of course, look out for signs of narcissism. But if you're doing the ancestral meditation, you should not be exuding pain. If you took your anger and used it to create, it shouldn't be on you for a narcissist to smell. They will try to dig up dirt and pain and use that to their advantage. But you will no longer exude it like an open wound. Many Black women are walking around as open wounds, and many are losing their lives, livelihood, or promising futures because they gave it away to a narcissist. 90% of our successes and failures are due to who we pick as a partner. Be very careful. Enjoy life, and if he or she shows up, rewatch our video on the climbing the totem pole in a narcissistic empire. Watch out for verbal inconsistencies, lowbrow insults cloaked as a joke, small threats, gaslighting, and not protecting you. Again, if you are not walking around with an open wound, they won't be attracted to you. But many lie in wait for you to show a vulnerability. Show no vulnerability until he or she deserves it. How will you know? You will tell them something very small first and less damaging if word got out. See how they handle that, then wait, but go outside. The love of your life is not going to go walk up to your door and say, "Hey, I'm the love of your life. What's up?" That's not how any of this works. You must go outside. A special warning. When you use pent-up anger to create your business, comedy show, music, platform, visual art, poetry, book play, film, etc., you will end up doing it very, very well. You will get hangers-on that want to be a part of what you are doing. Partner with only those that can get you somewhere or are doing better than you in the industry that you are in. You don't need a manager that never managed a top artist before, but because he gave you a wedding ring, you give him the job. No, do not save money in this department and hire a family member. Your transmuted anger must not be tainted with other people's unresolved anger. What you created through your anger is your voice speaking through the creation. Only a professional should help you handle it. You need someone emotionally removed from your creation who is just doing their job to either promote you or manage you. Many Black women make the horrible choice to have a family member manage them. Your creation is like your child. Would you take your child to an auto mechanic to check your child's vitals? Nope. So why leave your valuable creation in the hands of someone who doesn't know the anger behind the creation? This is protecting not only your energy, but they won't block the pathway to let go of your anger. If someone is not managing you correctly, you can no longer let go of the energy actively. Remember, every day that anger must be transmuted. Whether you dance it out, sing it out, write it out, jog it out, you do not need anyone turning off the faucet to let your anger out. The friends, the love partners should never be a block. If they block you from creating, they need to go. This is not a tribal member. A tribal member is creating alongside you. Maybe something the same or something different. But they are creating with you. They shouldn't have time to block your anger release. 8. Understand that the best people in life will not blow smoke up your ass. Like my aunt told me, I was being insufferable by not enjoying the great weather and luxurious surroundings. You will get some of the best people telling you what you don't want to hear. If you know it's the truth, say thank you. Appreciate truth tellers, and you will continuously learn more about yourself and your world. Black women have a history of people lying to them. They sit under videos listening to Black men in the BMWs telling them that they are ugly and worthless. And a future cat lady and you's gonna die lone rhetoric is utterly bullshit. It's a lie. I'm telling there's a whole entire planet waiting for you to explore it. There are some parts of the world that don't hate Black women at all, but you'll never know because you are listening to liars. You listened and donated to people like Umar, who said he would build a school and never did. Black leaders tell you to go march and get arrested. Stop listening to lies and listen to truth tellers. The original BWE writers were truth tellers, and y'all gave these women your asses to kiss. The manosphere said you need to choose better. KSC tells you to stop giving BM's ass, but you get rid of her. You don't fight the manosphere by going out in the world and proving them wrong. Instead, you just watch others brave enough to verbally assassinate them, which fuels your rage but doesn't let it go anywhere. Listen to the truth tellers. Listen to real teachers of Black women. You know who the truth tellers are, because they are all underground. While the successful commentators are telling you your hair is nappy, forcing you to rewatch news stories of which Black woman got shot by a so-called bullet bag, women reminding you Black women, who Black men really choose, is a waste of your fucking time. This phone is gonna kill Black womanhood. If we don't put this shit down and live a better life, and in the 3D world, we will be forever swimming in toxic soup of anger. 9. Untransmuted anger will murder you. And I mean that literally. You think being angry is doing something? It's not. It's actually slowly killing you mentally and physically. If you knew the power of emotions on the human body, you would be shocked at how much influence it has. It may be shits and giggles and just mindless entertainment now, but a nasty diagnosis later. Angry people also do not eat well, sleep well, or structure their lives. They are always waiting for the other shoe to drop. They are used to the lack of organization and structure in Blackistan, that when something runs smoothly, they get confused and anxious. No, it's just that you are stuck in terror. The anger has to come out creatively. I already know many of you will ask, what's the difference? Okay, let's find a close enough example in real life. A content creator who's fun-loving, pretty cool person, has a podcast or show reviewing the dumb shit Black males do or say in the manosphere, or just in real life, and it goes viral enough to discuss it. For example, this Cam Newton interview with Iyanla Vanzant. Everyone is getting angry at her male worshippingness and caping. But I had to remind you that this woman energetically killed off 2 daughters. No one mentioned that. As the truth teller, I have to dive deep. Many viewers of the interviews exposed their BMW tendency, because no one thought about the daughters. I don't think he, Newton himself, or anyone else in the comment section asked when she said she made a better father than a mother. Everyone is angry at the black man and is stewing about her BMW-ness, but not about the daughters. No, you hop off that interview and now you're on the angry rabbit hole. Your algorithm will continue to show you manosphere-esque videos. YouTube, a company, will continue to push to you this negativity because you clearly like it. On the other hand, the person with transmuted anger hears about the interview and writes a journal entry or a comedy spoof on black male podcaster who should never have a mic, or they create a painting of a cross-eyed man with a weird hat on. The painting sells at local art show. The play gets rave reviews from your local community theater reviewer. When the anger energy is put into a creation, your body and mind no longer hold that energy, but the creation does. When you hop off a video of, say, a DZ, you're left stewing in anger, loud women cussing out other women or black men with no solutions. Not even a calming, breathing meditation at the end. I know it sounds funny, but just to leave you out in anger land, sitting on your vital organs like your gut, heart, and brain. No ma'am, that shit is dangerous. When I watched angry YouTube, most of the content creators always had some sort of congestion. Of course, these people are always sick or have to get surgery, have autoimmune issues, or look inflamed, like Umar Johnson. It's too much anger. They use their anger to push it out on you. Their anger is exposing their real life. No one happily married should be that angry. Why should I feel your anger because your YouTube baby daddy left you a single mother? Why should I feel your anger because you're not really in the lifestyle you claim to have? Nor is the husband acting right. Why should I now stew in the anger you have not transferred and fuck with my own vital organs? No, I shan't have myself take the fall for your anger. Anger will kill you first before it kills your enemies. 10. Create a platform that shows all women how to transmute their anger. Spread the love around. I'll share your vetted platform. Use anger to create whatever your interest is in. Invite women to recite their poems. Invite women to share readings of their scripts. Or have a damn night of knitting. Channels where women can gather for shared interests and just chill out on a live, showing their talent. Now all women, not just black women. It will turn into Negroville if you do that. And then you'll be forced to speak about black men all damn day. So appeal to all women. And here's why. It's time for black women to take back their representation. We are not just bitches and hoes twerking on a mic. We are moms, sisters, aunties, quilters, writers, dancers, seamstresses, hairstylists, guitarists, songwriters, playwrights, journalists, politicians. What are you really interested in that your anger can sit in instead of you? That's my challenge for you for 2025. Use anger. Do not let anger use you. With love, transmuted living.